back to part 2 of my official sugar detox series. Last video, we talked all about sugar addiction, signs of sugar addiction, as well as the first major step to stopping your sugar addiction for good. So if you missed that video, make sure you check that out. I'll have it linked down description below. I'll also have the full playlist for this sugar detox series linked down description below as well, so it's super easy to find. Today we're talking about the one thing you need to be eating a lot more of in order to tell your brain to stop craving sugar for good. And if you miss this crucial step, getting rid of your sugar cravings will be near impossible. Let's dive into it. My name's Autumn. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance, and I was a previous sugar addict. So I know all about this, and these tools really help me. So I'm so excited for you guys to dive into this sugar detox series. Now, in order to understand sugar cravings, you need to understand hunger, because study after study has found that even when we're moderately hungry, like very slightly hungry, what we crave completely shifts over to sweets, not savory, but sweets. So addressing hunger and satiety is one of the most important factors for actually telling your brain that you don't want sugar. And the food that you need to be eating every day in order to prevent hunger, boost satiety, and prevent sugar cravings isn't like some sexy new superfood out of the Amazon. Instead, it's really just the humble protein. Studies have found that eating more protein literally causes changes in our brain that reduce cravings and lead to less sugary nighttime cravings as well. And another study found that by increasing our protein intake to 25% of our total intake, decreased cravings by 60%. I've personally experienced this phenomenon of increasing my protein intake, and like magic, the sugar cravings disappear. And I hear this from all of my clients in my community, especially women, where I found women tend to have higher sugar cravings, that as soon as they're eating enough protein for their body's needs, the cravings just magically disappear. In fact, this tool alone is so effective that I haven't found any sugar reduction effort to be successful without it. Here's how it works. When you initially eat a high quality source of protein, it first digests in your stomach, but then it finishes digestion and then absorption in your small intestine. When protein reaches your small intestine, it triggers your body to release a very strong satiety hormone called peptide YY. When this is released, it literally tells your brain, like, I am good. I do not need to keep eating. I'm satisfied. We're done. And sugar cravings really come down to one of two factors, either stress, like emotional stress, or hunger / a lack of nutrients. And sugar is a really fast energy source. So if we don't get enough of high quality key satiety foods like protein, then our body is looking for some faster energy source to replace it, cue all the sugar cravings in the world. So if we can deal with hunger and lack of nutrients, then we can literally deal with half, if not more, of the battle, all without really incorporating any mental discipline around saying no to sugar. But this protein step really only works if you're getting enough protein for your body's needs, not someone else's. For example, my husband and I have completely different protein needs. If he were to eat the same amount of protein as me, he would very quickly lose muscle mass, increase belly fat, and start to crave sugar like crazy. And if you think that you're getting enough protein, a recent study found that 46% of US adults weren't even hitting the bare minimum that's needed to prevent a protein deficiency. And there are really big, obvious signs that you're not getting enough protein. The first one is that you're hungry within 2 hours. Protein works on increasing our long-term satiety and telling our brain we're full. So if you're hungry within 2 hours, that means you didn't get enough protein to get that full satiety activation. Another sign is that you're craving sugar after your meal, or you're experiencing muscle loss or hair loss, or if you're having difficulties losing weight. And I have a really simple video to help you calculate your protein needs so you can make sure you're actually getting enough to help you prevent your own sugar cravings. So make sure you check out this video right up here after the end of this video. You're going to want to calculate your individual needs and then make sure that you're splitting your total protein intake between 3 even meals throughout the day. In fact, run a 7-day test of this and let me know how it goes in the comments. Now, it's important to not only eat enough protein, but make sure it's coming from high quality sources. Otherwise, your body's just not getting as much bang for its buck, and it's not absorbing as much protein as it actually needs. So we want to focus on proteins that have a high DIAS score. This is really just a measurement of the digestibility of that protein. These foods are going to be better absorbed, but also be more satiating. So some of the highest, most satiating proteins include things like chicken with the skin on, salmon and other fatty fish, pork tenderloin, unsweetened Greek yogurt, unsweetened cottage cheese, eggs, ground beef, steak, and tempeh. In fact, I have a full blog post with a complete list of all the different types of proteins, so if you want to check that out for a more handy resource, I'll also have that blog post linked down in the description below. Now, what I personally do to hit my daily protein needs, which is usually around like 80 grams of protein per day, 80 to 90 grams, I usually start off my first meal a day with a low sugar smoothie, and I like to use 2 scoops of my 0 sugar whey protein powder, which is also a really high DIAS score protein. And then I pair that with a half cup of Greek yogurt, so I'm getting about 30 grams of complete protein just from that smoothie. smoothie. For lunch, I usually have some type of scrambled eggs dish with 3 eggs and some feta cheese or another type of cheese. So it totals to about like 25-30 grams of protein, really depending on how much cheese I'm adding on, which cheese is also a great source of both protein and fat. And then dinner is usually where I'm having more of my animal-based source of protein from like beef or chicken. And usually it's about 6 ounces worth of like ground beef that I'll make into a burger or a stuffed bell pepper or a cauliflower rice burrito bowl. And that usually comes out to be about 40-45 grams of complete protein at dinner. By combining the complete protein with the lower sugar intake from the first step that we talked about in the first part of this series, you can notice a significant drop in your sugar cravings. But there are still 3 more tools that can help to nip sugar cravings in the bud so that you don't experience them on a day-to-day basis. So make sure you stay tuned for the rest of this 5-part series. You can do that by subscribing to my YouTube channel, or if you're watching this after the videos have already aired, you can check out the full sugar detox playlist linked down in the description below. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next part of my official sugar detox series.